June 17th Municipal Building Committee meeting to order. First thing is I have to read something pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, chapter 30A, section 18, and the governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Municipal Building Committee is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of the members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the meetings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to view this meeting while in progress may do so by turning into Westborough TV. Okay, so I guess we're all set. Is Peter on?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Good morning. I think the first thing is to approve the minutes of the meeting of the June 3rd meeting.
Move to approve as printed.
Okay, Dexter made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Jim Stewart. Okay, roll call vote. Dexter?
Aye.
Does anybody have anything to say first? Hearing none. Dexter, roll call.
Aye.
Jimmy, roll call.
Aye.
Earl?
I abstain.
Abstained, wasn't at the last meeting. Peter?
Yes.
Al Gordon, yes. Okay, so those are approved. Do we want to move on to Peter next?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, committee members. Just a quick note, I did send out a report last night, but I revised it this morning. You can discard last night's report. You can see on the upper section of this report, I have it highlighted, revised R1. So that was sent out this morning, and here it is. We'll hit item 3 right now. So since we last met on June 3rd, the building commissioner, Fred Leonardo, Jim Stewart, myself, Matt Rex, and Jonathan Ennis from 5 Star, we walked the building last Friday, June 12th, to review the punch list and the open items that remain to be completed. We went through the list, and I'll show you the list later this morning here on another slide. It is attached. We did talk about a series of things to be done, such as actual punch list work. We talked about owner training. We talked about the closeout documentations that are necessary. And we talked about the ADA, AAB items. That meeting did not have anything to do with FF&E, but I have it listed here as a talking point. I can go into the punch list real quick, and I will certainly ask if the building commissioner, Fred Leonardo, or facilities director, Jim Stewart, want to add anything to please do so as well. So quickly, committee members, I don't know if you can see my screen. I can zoom in a little if that helps. Let me see what happened. There was that. So this essentially is what we're calling the punch list of the project. We're down to basically 40 items, give or take.
Peter, your presentation's not coming up on the screen.
No?
Are we supposed to be looking at it?
Should be looking at the punch list?
Yeah, no, there's nothing there.
That's odd. Okay, let me go back to something. Okay.
There you go.
Sorry about that. I thought you were seeing my report. Apologize. Committee members, so we're on item 3. Project update. As I mentioned, we had a meeting on the 12th, talked about punch list for the contractor, some owner training, closeout documentations, ADA, AAB items. Next screen here is essentially the updated punch list based on the results of the walkthrough that we had on Friday, June 12th. This list has been shared with the building commissioner and the facilities director and the contractor. We're down to approximately 40 items with an estimated value currently at $72,277. And this is the list we're working from in terms of the punch list. We still have some things to do. As you can see here on rows 22 through 29, we call it administrative activities that need to be completed by the contractor in terms of closeout. And we have a few things left to do with respect to the ADA, AAB activities for the contractor. And then if I could, I'll go back to the report itself, the cover sheet. There are some items under the ADA, AAB that are in dispute. And when I say the word in dispute, they've been recognized by the ADA consultant that was hired by the town of Westborough within the report. And some of the corrective work that's listed in that report is in dispute in terms of, is it the contractor's responsibility or is it the designer's responsibility? And right now, some of those items, the building commissioner has done a nice job by deciphering that report and culling out the items that are in dispute. I plan to have a discussion with the contractor and the designer at some point to talk through the disputed items. That the results of that will certainly be shared with the building commissioner and the facilities director to form a resolution to see where it stands. There may be a continuation of disputed items, but hopefully the list is smaller than what it is today. That discussion is scheduled to take place later this month, first part of July. The designer, Brian Humes, is out of the office until June 29th. So we'll have the discussion when he returns. I'll stop for a minute if the building commissioner or the facilities director would like to add anything to the walkthrough, the punch list, the ADA, AAB, or closeout documentation discussion we've had for the committee.
If I may, this is Fred Leonardo, building commissioner. Peter, thank you for the list. I've gone through it. It looks like it matches up pretty well. I didn't see any real discrepancies. Some of that I'll leave to Jim because a lot of the administrative stuff I'm not 100% sure on, but the list looks pretty good. Just keeping in mind that not all the ADA/AAB issues are on that list. As Peter alluded to, the disputed things aren't on the list. And there may have been one or two other items that may not specifically be on that list that have to be corrected. And Five Star agreed to some of that. The big thing on this though, Peter, the one thing we didn't settle on is when new dates. We don't have new dates for completion of this work. So I'd like to see if we can put some dates to this so we can have a follow-up walkthrough with the same parties that were here on the Friday, if that's reasonable.
That's very reasonable. That is a true point. We did not settle on dates, but I will ask that question and get back. Yes.
Thank you. That's kind of all I had on it.
Okay. Jim, do you want to add anything? Thank you, Fred. Appreciate your time. And committee members, Fred's done a nice job in helping with this process, in particular the ADA, AAB items where there's some, I'll say again, the word disputed. It's just a matter of understanding who has what ownership, and it's been a back and forth, so to speak, and Fred's been helping call out certain items on the report, which helps streamline the discussion.
Peter, can I ask a question? Or Al, can I ask a question to Peter? All right, Peter.
Yes, go ahead.
You've got down here highlighted in yellow the estimated value of work. Does that tie in with Five Star?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Dexter, on that point, and committee members, you may recall some time back, say 2 months ago, there was a request from the contractor to receive a payment. We settled on a payment application number 32, which we paid them $87,000, and these numbers correlate with that. So we're currently holding
What's that number again, Peter?
against the contractor. We could be making a payment to them based on this report if we so choose.
What's that amount again?
The amount we paid in requisition 32.
Well, yeah, I guess that's the question.
All right, if you don't mind, committee members, I'm going to scroll down on the budget where we have that number listed. Payment application. You can see it. I'll zoom in a little bit. Sorry, a little difficult here, but I'll highlight it. I'm sorry, I said 87. I meant that's what we had for a balance. Payment
That's
application
They
42.
already got-
76, 767.
Excuse
Have
me?
we approved that number, Peter?
Yes, we have.
So the question then begs back to your report, which is not the 76,000. You've got in here 72,000.
That's the
So-
value of the punch list.
Yeah, but my question is, from the contract that we have with Five Star, is this 72,277 the balance remaining?
No. We have more monies to pay them. We have like $87,000 left to pay them. Plus the
All right,
change.
so what's the
plus the change
15,000
order
for?
work we approved last meeting.
What-
Back
What's the
to the budget. Excuse me.
what's the additional 15,000 for?
I'm sorry, say that again, please.
Well, you just said that this number here is 72,000, and you said we have 87,000 outstanding with Five Star, which includes the 72,000. What's the difference? 15,000, what's that for?
Right here, change order 24, which we spoke about at the last building committee meeting when we approved some PCOs. You have not seen the full number called PCO 24, change order 24, but you may recall the last building committee meeting, we discussed and approved PCOs 115, 118, and 126, which is now shown on the screen, which is, I said 15,000 as a quick number. Excuse me.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Got it, Peter, thank you.
So those are the values basically, and to close in a little closer, Dexter, on your question, if we come down here, let me unhighlight what I just did. Please hold. Essentially, I'll zoom in a little bit as well. I'm gonna highlight this row right here. Those numbers right there, which is on the report, let me just zoom over, I can show you, it's row 254 of the report. The construction totals, that's what's currently outstanding right there. Again, I'll just quick summary. The base contract for the contractor was $10,516,168. We've approved 24 change orders in the amount of $1,032, $394.84. I mean,
That's a
1
million.
million. 1
That's a
million.
million, not 1,000.
Excuse me. $1,032,394.84, with the revised contract total of $11,548,562.84. We've paid $11,446,290.93. We owe somewhere in the neighborhood about $102,271.91. 102,271.91. That's how we're currently tracking it. I'm going to confirm those numbers as well based on all the change orders. And the design team will be preparing an official change order for signature and execution.
for change order 24?
Correct.
Okay.
Where was I? So back to this sheet, Dexter. Yes. So again, this is just this is a worksheet, if I could call it that, on an estimated value of the punch list. We were asked to create a monetized punch list. While we had a list of things to be completed, we actually put dollar values to the line items as an estimated process to calculate the value or the monetized value of the punch list. And this is the result here, this sheet.
May I ask a question, Peter O'Neill? Al?
Go ahead, Peter.
I just have a question on this monetized punch list. Is this money that we're taking out of our budget?
No,
I think
Mr.
that's what you're saying, or it's in the budget that we've earmarked funds to. But some of these punch list things aren't necessarily our issues, are they? I just was looking at line 15, the $1,500 to fix the carport. Who broke the carport?
No, so Mr. O'Neill, the $72,000 is a value of monies being held against the contractor's contract. This is not owner cost. The monies are still left to be paid to the contractor, and we are withholding them based on this estimated value.
All right. Well, that's what I was trying to get, because I mean, the damage to the carport had nothing to do with anything that was in the contract for us. That's something
correct.
that happened outside of the contract.
That's correct. So these line items that you see there, as you mentioned, line item 15, there is a damaged soffit on the carport, a piece of bent metal. It didn't happen by the owner. It would happen during the construction phase. We've identified it. We put a value of $1,500 for the contractor to repair. So that money's being withheld from the contractor's value of his contract.
Okay.
Okay, I just didn't feel that that's an issue that, I mean, there's probably a lot of them here. This is the first time I've seen this particular list this way. I don't have a copy of it to go through it. But I just want to make sure we're not coming up with outside money to pay for some of these damages that weren't done by us, or things that weren't, I realize if something wasn't completed in the project, we're holding money. But this was something that was damaged, like the floor that got scratched and the walls that got dinged, and that's not necessarily our fault. And I just don't want to be paying for that stuff.
That's correct. And currently, the owner or the town of Westborough is not.
Okay, thank you, Peter.
Okay, Peter, was there something supposed to be done like in the last week in regards to the parking out in front of the building, the handicap?
Yeah, well, it was scheduled to have been taken place by now. I know the contractor mentioned the last time we spoke, he was looking to do it on or about now. It has not taken place, and that gets back to the building commissioner's remark, wherein he indicated we did not talk about schedule with the contractor, and we need to get back in touch with them on look ahead timelines.
Okay, that's on Matt, I take it, to set that up and have that done?
That is correct. Looking at my notes, I think the last time we spoke, it was anticipated the site work for the front parking lot was going to take place June 8th, the week of June 8th.
Right.
So that was last week, and it has not taken place. So we need to get back in touch with a look ahead schedule when the contractor intends to do that work.
Okay,
This
thank
is
you.
John Ennis here. I just wanted to fill in a little bit more information on the parking spot. So we have reached out to Site Tech. He is planning on coming back. The main thing is he was waiting on getting his paver to have a confirmed date. And then he had also sent in some design plans that I put over to BVH for approval, and that was one thing that he wanted looked at before he moved forward. and this was sent in last week. So we're just waiting on a response for that, and then we can start moving forward.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Okay, committee members or Jim Stewart, if anybody want to add anything further on item 3?
No, I mean, they're making headway on the punch list stuff. They've had Kevin's been over there working. We had a good meeting Friday, and we confirmed all the stuff that was either done or still outstanding. There's a few items that still need to be addressed. There was a little bit of back and forth with some of the items that were on the punch list. And then there were some items that I wanted on the punch list that weren't, that we kind of traded off on. Everything seems to be, moving forward, but there are still some pretty big items like that parking lot repair and things like that have not taken place yet. And we're just waiting on dates to get it to happen.
Right.
Jim, this is Al Gordon. Are you aware of a couple things with the police department? One in particular is downstairs in the lower level. There's some hardware missing off of one of the doors that holds the door open.
Which door are you referring to, Al?
I'm not quite sure. The chief told me that there was one of the doors that they've had to actually put one of the free weights in front of to keep it so that the guys don't pull it and slam it open against the wall, which is going to put a hole in the wall.
Right. Yeah, I think that's probably referring to the door that is going into the gym. That used to have a door closer on it, and due to the ADA requirements, we had to remove that door closer. There is supposed to be a stop installed that would stop that from hitting the wall. They just took that closer off. I believe it was Friday. While we were there, Kevin must have taken it off while we were talking about it. And there's a number of other doors that now do not have closers on them due to the ADA requirements. But in agreeing to the town to accept that would be the fix for the solution to remove the door closers, I required them to make sure, number one, that any holes that were in the door were filled and stained to match, and door stops were put on to prevent them from hitting walls or anything behind it. So, I mean, that is a work in progress, but the one about the weights is down in the gym. That just happened on Friday, Al.
Okay. And the other thing was, I guess the microwave's not working. I don't know if that goes with FF&E or not.
No, that's part of the package. I'm working with Jonathan on that. It was, I looked in the warranty book and I couldn't find any contact information in there. Pretty much all referred back to GE, the manufacturer, for all the warranty stuff. One of the things that concerns me is these were residential microwaves that were put in, and it's clearly states in the warranty that these were for residential use. So I don't know how that's going to play out now that the microwaves don't work. We're within our year, so I mean they should be replaced. And Jonathan, if you want to speak up on that, I know that you were working on that.
Yes, so I did reach out to GE, and you are correct about them being residential microwaves. That is what was approved. And if we were to call and say that it was in the police break room, that they might have given me a little bit of grief. At this point, I need to come and take the microwave and pull the serial number off of it. I should be able to get a voucher for a free microwave. So I just, once I can make it out there, we can get that moving.
Well, I can give you, if you're just looking for numbers, I can take those off the unit and send them to you. I'll take a picture of the tag and send it to you.
All right, yeah, I just need the physical so I can actually mail it out to them after. Because they don't want it to be returned to the store or anything like that, so they want the physical label.
Okay.
That's great, Jim. If you could do that, that certainly would facilitate things.
Yeah, okay.
You should be able to peel the label off, Jim.
Yep.
Okay, guess we're back to you, Peter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If everybody's okay, maybe we'll move quickly just to ask if there's any update. I don't have anything necessarily to speak about with respect to the FF&E. I know last time we had discussed that the contractor Red Thread was going to take care of replacing the dividing partition in the open workspace in room 213, the building commissioner's office, where the two administrators sit. So that was the last piece of information I had listed. Anything
Yeah,
new?
an update on that, Peter. Red Thread is coming on June 24th to take care of the rest of the punch list items that they have. We did locate, and I don't know if I shared that with you, Peter, those 3-foot jumper cables for the table.
Okay.
They were found in the building. They were still all boxed up, and they were up on the top of a shelf. I sent one of the guys through the building and said, I want you to check everywhere and see if you can come up with these things, because they're saying they're here. And lo and behold, they were found on, kind of tucked away up on the top of a shelf somewhere. But so we do have those, and I'm going to require, when they're here on the 24th, them to daisy chain some of those tables together and make sure that the configuration works with those cables, and then that item will be put to rest. And everything else, I think we're on the same page with Red Thread. The only thing we haven't received is the value or what they want to do about the damaged floor in the police break room.
Right.
We did receive the new glides. I had Danny put them on. They seem to be working okay, but that doesn't, take care of the damage on the floor. Originally, West Flooring they're coming back to do some tile work, and I had spoken with their owner, and they were going to take a look at it and give me a dollar value on it, just so we knew what we were dealing with Red Thread. And then, we need to get it replaced, and we're just going to make sure that everybody's on the same page with the amount.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. Glad to hear you were successful in speaking with Red Thread and having that activity scheduled.
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, committee members, if there's nothing further, we can move down the list. And we can certainly come back if there's something that comes.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Good for
Yeah, one thing I wanted to confirm, because I don't know if Jonathan was on the conversation. Can I get an update on when the scheduled completion of the work by the end of the week?
For the parking, or just the punch list in total?
Yeah, the punch list in total. If you and Peter can work on a schedule and just get it back to us, myself and Jim Stewart, that'd be great by the end of the week.
Yeah, I need to check with Matt. It might need to be early next week, because I know he's really slammed this week at his other project, but definitely I'll talk to him and we'll send out an email.
All right, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Jonathan. Okay, item 4. I'll hit just we may have already touched on them, but I'll hit them again, which is basically the change order log from the construction, the owner's look ahead changes, and then the overall budget. So I'll click my screen here and I'll unhighlight some of this. So here's the change order log from the construction perspective. You can see on row 3 and 4, we did hit these numbers. Hope you can see them. We can zoom in if necessary. So the contractor's base contract, you can see, was the $10,516,000. The change orders 1 through 24 is the $1,032,000. Revised contract total $11,548,000. There are no outstanding PCOs. There's just the one contractor's claim, which has been responded to. I'm just tracking it or holding it there for now. And I just wanted to list what we did last time we spoke, change order 24, which is also noted up above. With respect to the next list, I'll zoom out a little bit. You may be familiar with this format. This is kind of the OPM look ahead owner changes potentially. This was pretty much assembled back in the fall prior to town meeting. The bold items, and I'll do some quick highlighting. Number 9, number 12, 14, 15, 17. You can see those are bold. Those are the updates since we last spoke. I zeroed out the row 9 because I believe all the invoices have been paid on that, and I can show you that on the budget. I zeroed out the red thread thing because we are negotiating that. So that's already in the process of the FF&E summary that we spoke about earlier. I did reduce row 14 to 7,691.74. That is the last invoice from BCM Controls for the work they did. I know that invoice is out there somewhere. I just needed to finalize it with ENSA and get that processed, and certainly the town finance office, and then we'll insert it into the budget, and it'll be zeroed out here.
Peter, if I can.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is being paid this week. I've submitted it to Linda.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Peter, last meeting, the board had asked me to check with Pat Cullen to make sure that that invoice had already been appropriated for on a purchase order and everything like that, and it was. The work has been completed months ago. That's kind of been floating around for a while, and he absolutely said it was fine to pay. And I did send Enza an email stating it was okay to send in for payment.
Are you
Okay.
talking about the 7,691?
Yes.
Yeah, I just signed the pink slip on that yesterday or the day before.
Okay.
So that's good. So it's being tracked, and you'll see all these numbers roll up at the bottom anyways, whether it's on this sheet or the budget sheet. It's still being tracked on the bottom line. The bookings room, that is completed. That was done. I talked to Mr. Cullen about that. Elevator access was 7,000. It was either paid or not performed. I forget which one that was. It's in the budget through BCM Controls. And it just leaves the two numbers tallied up here to 37,691.74. And I'll just quickly show you where that number lands. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom line of the budget. You're probably very familiar with how this works, at least as far as how we're tracking it. So you can see it right here on the bottom of the budget, row 626. I know I'm moving around a little bit, might be hard, but it is highlighted. Well, I'll highlight it right now. It's right there. And same with the contractor's claim number that I mentioned earlier. It's right there as well. So bottom line to all this, I can certainly go up 15 pages to the budget on how it's broken down. But currently right now, we're tracking, there's $249,299 available, quote, as uncommitted, as we are currently tracking it. And then below that, you can see some of the rooms. I have not taken away the estimated value of what we spoke about earlier in the project, unless the committee would like me to. If you so choose, you can see the other numbers down below, which remain consistent over time for the quiet rooms, the railings, the ADA, AAB, the boiler exhaust, etc. 90,700 down below. I'll stop for a minute if there's any questions.
Looks good, Peter.
Yeah, definitely looks good.
Thank you. So, okay. I'll move back up to the agenda for a second. We did, whoops, excuse me. So that pretty much concludes committee members, a quick discussion on item 4, budget
Well, they said they were.
the changes.
We got lucky that we got it before
I can turn it now over to item 5, kind of an open discussion, Mr. Chairman. Anybody or anything?
Jim, could you maybe mute your, the mic there?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Peter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm all set with item 4. I can turn it to item 5, open discussion, general comments to any and all.
Sounds good. Anybody have any comments or questions?
When are we gonna finish this thing, Peter?
Good question, Dexter.
Well, I have an interest in that, so I'll explain later. But Peter, do we have an idea as to when basically we can have a formal ribbon cutting aside from the COVID problem?
I don't have an exact date, Dexter. I know it was discussed a minute ago by the building commissioner and the contractor, Jonathan Ennis from 5 Star, looking to get the site work done and the punch list. We are closing in on, I'll say, the actual physical items and visual items to be done. There are some things that need to be done administratively that may, hopefully not, but may linger. And then we certainly have the ADA, AAB accessibility items to correct, in particular the disputed items, which may take a little longer to iron out those wrinkles, depending on the discussion and the outcome of what happens between the report and further ideas and interpretations by the contractor and the designer. And in the end, like I said, hopefully not, but we may end up with some of those items remaining in dispute, which may take a little bit longer to figure out and who does it, when, and how. So I don't have that answer right now.
So aside from the items that may be in dispute, we're looking at September at the earliest and probably not till the end of the year. Is that what you could faithfully estimate?
I'm certainly going to say it's going to be September, knowing how things go and what timelines things take. So that's 3 months away. It's probably going to be mid-fall at the earliest.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I sort of kind of looks like what I thought based on my experience.
I would certainly hate to even say it, but it would certainly be nice to have this 100% closed by the middle of the fall. Certainly no later than the end of the calendar year. And
so that
even sooner,
4 years plus, that puts us 4 years plus on this project.
That's correct.
Unbelievable. Okay. It was a big project. We hopefully the taxpayers going to appreciate what we did and all the effort we put into it and all the effort everybody put into it. But it just seems that it's an inordinate amount of time to get this thing done. But be it as it may, it is what it is.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Chairman, we're still on item 5. If anybody has anything.
Hi, Earl here. Al, I've got a question.
Go ahead, Earl.
Who's paying the $475 to Marcone Painting for those sconces in the great room at the auditorium that you could see from the moon that never got done? And been controversy since the paint got done on the wall 6 or 8 months ago. And we had Jimmy Stewart find a local contractor to paint them for us, and they look great. But who's paying for that? That's what I want to know.
We are. Earl, we discussed that at the last meeting, and I'm glad to see that this number came in even less than I projected. I had calculated rough numbers at $1,000, and Peter said, "Oh, no, it's going to be $1,500." Okay, we'll go with $1,500, and it's only $475. Great number, Peter. I'm glad you got it.
You can thank Jim Stewart for that.
Thank you, Jim. Good job.
Thanks, Jim.
So that's above and beyond, I mean, 5-star, that's not coming out of their money, that's coming out of our own pocket.
Right. It's above and beyond the contract, Peter. I mean,
That's,
Earl.
that's pretty sad, don't you think?
Well, yes, but it is what it is. Again, with some things that weren't included in the contract, and here we are putting Band-Aids on them at the end of the day.
You know, and well, maybe it should have come out of Brian Hume's thing. He was the one that put it all up and didn't put that in the contract. But whatever, I'm just stating a fact. It's pretty sad, you know, for $475, it's chump change to this whole project. And somebody other than us should be taking the hit on it. But that's okay. That's all I had to say.
I move that we approve the invoice number 1 to Marcone Painting for $475, Al.
I will second that. Do a roll call, or any discussion on that? Okay, hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Dexter?
Aye.
Peter?
Yes.
Jimmy?
Aye.
Al Gordon, yes. So it's unanimous.
Well, what about Earl?
Oh, Earl, excuse me, I forgot about Earl. I can't see him in the picture.
He's
Earl,
not going to go for it.
Earl's for it, yes.
all right, that's unanimous.
Good job, Earl.
Okay, I guess we're back to you, Peter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moving down the list, that concludes most of the presentation. Certainly, item 7 is scheduling of the next meeting.
Quick question. So I'm not sure if I missed this, but is there no recommendation for any payment to 5-star this month? We did get a substantial amount of that list done.
There's no invoice submitted.
All right, I will talk to our accounting then.
Okay, I guess, Peter,
Okay.
we'll leave that up to you then.
Yes, I'll work with the contractor on, and the designer on the typical process of processing invoices. Yes.
We did an invoice for them at the last meeting, which would be their monthly invoice.
We still
Okay.
haven't received it yet.
But this stuff that's been done has been since the last meeting, has it not? John,
There's no invoice.
You
We
still
have
in?
not processed an invoice since right here, invoice number, pay application 32.
What was the amount on that one?
Yeah, we paid that, we approved that at the last meeting, did we not?
Yes.
And it should have been processed by now.
We haven't received the process. All right.
You haven't? Well, Enza, did you do the paperwork for that?
This is for, were we ratifying, those were ratified at the last meeting.
Right.
That payment was made already.
The 76,767?
Yeah, the,
For rec
the
number
votes that
32.
you ratified, the payments that you ratified in the last meeting were already paid.
Right,
So if that's what this is, then it was already paid.
that's right.
So Jonathan should have
I'll
that.
double check with our accounting. I thought that it been approved at the last meeting to be paid.
Well, no, we during our conversations in the last 2 months, we made that payment based on conversations with Hury and 5-star, and then they ratified this they ratified that payment, that decision at the last meeting.
Okay.
So that would have been paid more than just within the last couple of weeks. That would have been paid back in May, perhaps.
Yes, correct.
And then what you're saying, Peter, there's not been any subsequent requisition for payment since that number 32.
That is correct, Dexter.
Okay, so Jonathan has to go back to his accounting department to figure out who's on first.
Yeah, and if there's an issue, Jonathan, you should contact myself or Leah Talbot directly.
Okay, no, and I didn't think there was an issue. It was more of what you just clarified a second ago was we were looking for a new rec, and I didn't. We just got the updated monetized list the other day, so our accounting wouldn't have really been able to come up with any numbers based off of anything else.
Okay. Just back to number 7, committee members, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
If there's a thought on when we'd like to meet again. I know like 2 weeks out, 2 weeks from today is basically the week of, we knew about the holiday period. I don't know if much is going to happen between now and then of any significant level of updating. May I suggest if there's nothing, we shoot for July 15th. Just picking a Wednesday, a month out.
How's
I'd like
that
to
fit with
actually
it?
do 2 weeks out because we need to deal with our rep before a month.
Well, your office needs to send something in, Jonathan.
We'll talk to them as soon as we get off this call. We'll make sure that comes out.
Are we still looking at July 15th?
I'd like to do 2 weeks if we could.
Yeah, that'll be July 1st.
Yes, correct.
Is everybody else in agreement with that? Dexter?
I'll answer you when we get further down the agenda list here.
Okay, I understand. Jimmy Stewart and Earl? You're on mute, Jimmy.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that's fine with both of us.
Okay,
Earl.
Peter?
I think that'll be fine.
Okay, I'm okay with that too. So we'll schedule the next meeting for July 1st.
Okay.
Okay,
More than likely, Mr. Chairman, 8:30 a.m. by virtual means.
yes.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes essentially the presentation the OPM has for the committee at this time.
Dexter, did you want to speak?
Yeah, I have not opted to get my reappointment. This is, my term expires the end of this month. And I've got a couple of reasons. One is I'm not sure what my residency is going to be. We're in the process of determining that. And so I talked with Christy and asked her to please pull my name out from consideration for this committee and also for the Country Club Operating Committee. And I haven't gotten back to Christy, nor have I gotten back to Massachusetts to do some research that I want to do regarding the Country Club Operating Committee. So at this point, I will not be a member after the end of the month. It's my intention to relinquish my spot, and even given the discussion at the last selectmen's meeting where there's some, the selectmen or select person, one or many have some concerns about the composition and the function of the Municipal Building Committee. It's not in dispute as far as I'm concerned, and I don't think our committee is in dispute of our function, but the selectmen apparently have some questions or issues with that, and I've talked to Christy just a little bit about it, but at this point, this is my last meeting. Unless things change and Christy decides that she wants me to stay for another short while until we get this building finished, I guess I'm at, I won't say I'm at her mercy, but wanting to pull back, but I'm willing to stay until this finishes if that's an issue.
Christy, do you have any advice?
I mean, I have concerns about quorum just because I actually spoke to Bob Brown today and he's actually resigning as well. And we have one open seat already. So that's my concern is the quorum, meeting the quorum requirements.
Mm-hmm.
Christy, is the quorum the number of members, more than half of the number of members, or is it half of the number of positions?
My understanding is it's positions. I could look into it again. I mean, I also don't want it to dwindle down too far. I mean, I want to make sure that we have, more representation. So we'll definitely have to advertise out this committee as having openings again. But we haven't been successful in filling Cal's spot either.
So we're at membership of 6, correct?
Right now, yeah.
And if I drop, that's a membership of 5, and you think but based on your interpretation, we need 4 of those 5 to have a quorum?
Well, your full board is 7.
Right. So we need 4 of 7 or 4 of 5 if there's only 5 members.
Right. So if
All right,
you and Bob are off, then we would need all 4 members remaining to attend every meeting.
Well, you want to put my name back into the board on the board meeting on the 23rd? When's the next selectmen's meeting?
23rd.
Yeah, okay. Well, do you want to put my name back in for the 23rd then? And I'll go until till we get done with this thing. Kind of why I asked Peter what the prognosis was for long-term of the building. And then the issue of the selectmen, that's another issue that needs to be dealt with, but not at the moment, I guess.
It's up to you, Dexter. I mean, if you want to continue, I'll put your name in, and if you don't, and you can't, then
Well, again, it's the issue of residency, and I will tell you that. I'll talk to you that when I get back, whenever that happens, and that depends on how things are going in Massachusetts, which at the present time not good, I guess. All right, so Christie, if you would, then, if you want to, put my name back in and let the selectmen deal with it, and then I'll talk to you when I get back.
Okay.
Thank you, Dexter.
Yes, thank you, Dexter. That'd be a great help.
Well, I don't want to fall flat in our face here. We're almost at the finish line. Now let's get this thing
Right.
over the finish line, and then we can figure out what we're gonna do.
Exactly.
Dexter, Earl here. I did talk to one of the selectmen about this comment about the building committee, and that was for future projects going down the road where we have nothing in front of us. The library probably is not going to be coming forward too soon, so this is probably be winding down, and then to just evaluate what we have. And it wasn't the way it came across. It wasn't meant to be like anybody was against the builder or just had concerns, and anyway, that's all. Never mind.
Yeah, okay. I heard that, and maybe I should speak with that same person, Earl. But the issue of the library building committee has nothing to do with the board of selectmen anyway. It's the library trustees that select that committee, and they asked, as you well remember, they asked the building committee for some assistance, and we volunteered. John Arnold and I volunteered initially, and then Earl stepped in when John left.
That's right.
So that has nothing to do with the selectmen or the town manager's appointments to the library building committee. That's strictly in the hands of the library trustees.
Right.
Okay, enough said, Al.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else needs to be discussed?
I'm all set, Mr. Chairman. OPM.
Okay. All right.
Thank you Greg, for all your efforts in getting this thing moving along too. I appreciate it. I know we all appreciate it.
Yes,
thanks, Fred.
absolutely.
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Project.
So moved.
Okay, Dexter made a motion to adjourn. To a second.
Second.
Okay, seconded. Roll call. Dexter,
Aye.
Peter,
Yes.
Jim,
Aye.
Earl,
Aye.
and Al Gordon, yes. So we are adjourned.
All right.
Have-
Thank you.
Have a good rest of the month. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk on the first.
Okay,
Take care.
Oh,
thank you.
Town meeting is on Saturday. Have a good time at town meeting, guys.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna miss you.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you.